everyone, it's Stoney, and I hope you're doing okay. Better than okay. I hope you're doing great. I just left Randleman, North Carolina. Not quite sure where I'm going. I'm just out for a Sunday afternoon ride. And to my left here is Worthville Dam. There used to be, see that old mill right there? Or remnants of it. Looks like they've torn down a lot of it. But there's a little beach down there. That's the Deep River. And in the summertime, people will come down there and take a little dip in the water. I don't know the exact history of that mill, but it had been around, I think, since the late 1800s. And it operated up until, I want to say, 70s or 80s, maybe even a little bit later than that. Not the mill part, but the buildings around it, there were some businesses in it. So anyway, this is Worthville Road. And as I said, I don't know where I'm going. Yesterday, oh, by the way, before I get started here, thank you very much for clicking on my channel and taking a few minutes to watch my vlog. I really do appreciate it. I'm thinking I may ride over to Saxapahaw, North Carolina, to the general store. I was over there, I don't know, about 6 weeks ago. And it's a nice little hangout. They got a couple good coffee shops over there, so I think I might ride over there and get a cup of coffee. Or I may not. I'm not real sure where I'm going to go. I really have no plans. I just, Mrs. Stoney and I went for a walk this morning. We got our 5 miles in, and it was so overcast and foggy in my neighborhood, you couldn't see the houses down the street. It was kind of eerie. But by the time we got finished walking, the sun had burned off the fog, and you see we got a really nice day. Carolina blue skies. The trees are ugly. We're a week before Thanksgiving, and yeah, it's a time of year. I like the fall, and I love it when the trees first start turning color or changing colors, but you know, it gets ugly. And still a few leaves left on the trees, but not very many. And it'll be like this, you know, until spring, of course. And it's just part of nature. That's the way it works. This is a really good road. I forget about this road. It will hook up down here to Old Liberty Road, which will take me over to Liberty, and I can go the back way over to Saxapahaw, North Carolina, which sits on the Hall River. So yesterday I got my sporty out. I don't know about you guys. In North Carolina, we have to have our vehicles, there has to be a yearly inspection. And you have to get your vehicle inspected before you get your license. And what the state will do is you'll get something in the mail that says your license and your property taxes on your vehicle are due. Well, you can't get your license until you get your vehicle inspected, and then you have to go to the DMV, or you can mail it in, or you can do it online. We usually go to the DMV because you never know about the mail these days around these here parts. We got a DMV in High Point that's pretty efficient. They got about 6 clerks there, and they'll get you through pretty quickly. You pick a number, and that way you know you go up when your number's called. So if you go in and you look at the sign, it says we're on number 28, and you look at the little ticket thing, and if it says it's 100, you know you're going to be there for a while. But it's usually only a 15, 20, 25 minute wait. I know a lot of DMVs get backed up But the one in High Point is, in my opinion, is really run efficiently. I've never had to wait more than probably 15 minutes. Anyway, I'm digressing. So you have to go and you have to go and pay your taxes, and when you get your vehicle inspected, it gets sent to a database in Raleigh, North Carolina, and when the DMV, there's a dead deer. When the DMV pulls up your VIN number and your address and all that stuff, it shows that yes, your vehicle has been inspected. So it's a pretty simple process, and that they will send you a notice about 2 months before your license expires. My Sporty, that motorcycle was bought the last day of January. That's when it was licensed, was the last day of January 2021, and it's a 2020 model. And that means that I usually get notice in November that, hey, my license are due in January. So they give you 2 full months. Actually, they give you a little bit more than that. They'll give you about 9 weeks. In the past, I've had to get my, since it's cool weather, I will forget about getting it inspected, and I'll wait to the last minute in January and have to take it somewhere to get it inspected. Now, the guy that I used in Archdale doesn't do motorcycle inspections anymore. He does motorcycle repair. So the reason I'm telling you this is there aren't a lot of motorcycle inspection places here in North Carolina, or in my part of town. You would think there would be. I live in a populated area, but there isn't. There's other than the fellow I was telling you about that doesn't do it anymore, there's nobody in the Archdale Trinity area that does motorcycle inspections. So you end up having to take it back to the dealer, or run around trying to find somebody that'll do a bike inspection. And I know people don't want to do it. The motorcycle shops don't want to do inspections. There's no money in it. If you do it properly, it probably takes 30 minutes, and the charge is $13.60, and that includes tax and everything. And I couldn't imagine they would get maybe $12 out of that. So you end up taking it to the dealer. I always do. I always take my Sporty. I usually take it to Riding High Harley-Davidson in High Point. Well, I called them yesterday, and I said, hey, are you doing inspections today? And they said, well, our machine's broken. Now, I don't know what he meant by machine. He said, my machine broke yesterday, and it's still broken, and I don't know when I'll get it fixed. And I almost rode up there yesterday, because usually they'll do it. They'll take it right in and do it. So I had called, used to be Smoking Harley-Davidson, but now it's called Madhouse Harley-Davidson. And I asked them, I said, hey, are you doing inspections today? And they said, yeah, we normally do, but our technician that's certified to do the inspections is out sick. I'm like, well, great, that's strike 2. So I called Cox Harley-Davidson in Asheboro. I didn't think that I didn't think their service department was open on Saturdays, but it is. I got online and looked, so I called them and I said, hey, look, can you guys do an inspection today? And he said, yeah, bring it on down. So we sure can. We're not busy, and just bring it in. It won't take us no time. So anyway, I rode down, and nice people down there. That's where I bought my Sporty. I bought several bikes from them. They don't have the same service team that they did have, but they seem to be very nice. I haven't used them for anything except motorcycle tires. But I got there and I said, hey, you know, I just called about my bike. I said, about getting inspected. And he said, well, yeah. He said, we got a couple bikes that we're working on, and we'll get to it. Oh. And anyway, I had to wait around the showroom for about 45 minutes before they could get to it and get it inspected. But anyway, Junior, my Sportster, is legal, and the ADV bike looks like a Husqvarna. This road right here in the summertime, there's a lot of sport bike riders. As you can see how curvy it is, a lot of sport bike riders will ride this road. It gets a little dangerous. There's certain times I won't come this way, even though it's such a nice road to ride and it's really beautiful down through here. Man, it's almost like the tail of the dragon on the weekends, especially like on a Saturday. So anyway, I don't know how you guys do it in the state that you live in, but it's a little irritating that when you buy a motorcycle, you have to pay sales tax. And in North Carolina, a vehicle is, I think it's 3% on a car, truck, motorcycle. I think commercial vehicles are a little bit more. And then every year you have to pay your property tax, and it's based on the value of your vehicle. And the Sportster, I think property tax on my Sporty is like $90 a year. So I have to pay the license fee, which I think is $26 and some odd cents, and then the $90 property tax when I go to the DMV. Usually my wife goes, and you'll get your little tab, your little sticker that goes on your license plate, and you're legal for a year. Well, according to the state of North Carolina, property tax evaluation, you have to pay state tax. We pay state tax, county tax, and we also have another tax for the fire department, and it's less than $1. Then we have another tax for schools, which they get you coming and going. But every year you got to cough up that tax. And look, if you've got a $25,000 or $30,000 Harley, that's you're probably looking at $400 or $500 a year to get a license on your motorcycle. This bike's about 170, I think. It's not due until May. And honestly, there's a couple reasons why I hang on to my Sportster. I love it, but it's very inexpensive to maintain and to keep as far as insurance and your taxes and your license. So my question to you folks is, do you have to pay yearly taxes on your motorcycle? You have to pay property taxes? Or, I know every state's different. I don't particularly like the way North Carolina does it, but that's the way they do it. And look, it gets really expensive if you have a nice car or a nice truck. So I hope you guys are doing well. Let me know how you guys do your taxes and license and all that in your state. Anyway, I'm in the little town of Liberty, North Carolina. Right there's a water tower with Liberty on it. And thank you guys for coming along. I'm going to continue my ride over to Saxapahaw. And I appreciate you guys watching. Y'all take care. This is Stoney, and we will talk to you later.